might have forgot to mention, there are times where we have to slow down, sometimes courtesy, or other times law. This is law right here. This is normally a heavy traffic zone for boating, but even if there's no boats, the southernmost point of Miami Beach. Any of you guys staying on South Beach? Anybody? All right. Are you guys enjoying those $50 drinks? They're so good, they taste like money. I love it though. South Beach is such a fun place. It's always beautiful there. Dining, dancing every single night. The beautiful white sandy beaches. So the islands of which are famous are just past this bridge. We're gonna pick our speed up to the bridge. We'll be there in just a few minutes. Let's go. You guys having a good time so far? Yeah! Whoa, look at your new hairdos. Everyone has a new look. That's why I wear this thing, because I got long hair and I don't want my hair to be a nuts at the end of the day. Now you guys check this out. These are the islands of which are famous. We're right in between Miami and South Beach. And all these islands are the islands of which are famous. This is our main attraction of our tour. That right there is Star Island. We'll be going around Star Island in just a few minutes. If you look over to the right on the other side, you're going to see an island here with a monument in the center. That island, like all of these other islands and the Port of Miami, were all man-made. I'll explain how they made the islands a little bit more into the tour. This island was dedicated to people that had built Miami in the early 1900s. It was purposely made with a beach on the left side. That's where the white sandy beach is. It's a great place to watch sunsets over the Miami skyline. You'll notice everybody out there right now, but actually there's not that many people right now. Everybody in Miami thinks it's really cold today, believe it or not. That's why there's not many people. But if there was a hot summer day, we're talking well over 80 boats, up to more than that, hanging out here. People anchor out or just beach their boats. Can anybody try to guess the name of the island? It's pretty simple. Just look at the island and try to guess the name. It's very simple. Look at it. Monument Island. Couldn't get it easier than that. In front of us we have Hibiscus Island, that three-story mansion with the dome, Ricky Martin, a Puerto Rican musician that likes to live in la vida loca. And right next door, the yacht and the Tyru mansion belong to a gorgeous girl from the show Baywatch. She was on the show for 3 years. She stands at 5'2", the beautiful Carmen Electra. Now she was very smart during her film career. Her vacation home in the Bahamas. What she does throughout the year, she has parties. After the party, she invites her friends. They go out there, spend about 4 or 5 weeks, comes back and plans out her next excursion. Many of the times when she does go out there, she goes alongside another celebrity that has a yacht and a mansion on Star Island. Now, to her surprise, she didn't even know that he had a vacation home on the same island as hers, which is Abaco Island, and they live just a few houses away from each other, which is pretty cool. They do go alongside each other in their boats for safety, which is smart. They go across the Gulf Stream waters. It gets a little rough sometimes. And the next island over, Palm Island. Both of these islands are connected by small bridges to MacArthur Causeway. That's the bridge that we went underneath on the way here. In the 1940s, about 30 years after the islands were created, the famous gangster from Chicago, Al Capone, lived on the island. He felt very safe living in those days on the island because in those days there was no bridge access. He had the only mansion on the island, and that made him feel very safe because he still had people after him back in those days. So So in the early 1900s is when all these islands were made. Before that, this is just a very big open bay, shallow water. There was no port of Miami, no causeways, no islands. It was just a big open bay. Big ships could not get into this area. The state of Florida needed ships to get in to bring building supplies from other countries. That's basically when Miami was born. So what they did, the state of Florida hired an engineer named Carl Fisher. Together with the Army Corps of Engineers, they excavated the cruise ship channel and the cargo ship channel on the other side of the Port of Miami. They gathered the sand and rock, they made the Port of Miami. Once that was completed, they had so much leftover sand and rock, they decided to make these islands, the causeways, and they expanded Miami Beach. So now, guys, we're looking directly at the largest property, largest mansion on Star Island amongst all these islands. The largest property, largest mansion. The property is so big, you would think that that's the mansion right there where I'm pointing on the other side of those tennis courts there. But no, that is a 3,500 square foot, 2-story greenhouse because he has so many exotic plants and farms on the property. He has to have that size of a greenhouse to maintain his property. 10 landscapers working on the property. 5 days a week, that's Monday through Friday. So this guy, obviously, is rich. His name is Dr. Philip Frost. And this guy is the inventor of the little blue pill. This guy invented a little blue pill with a V on it that says smiles to couples around the world. Does anyone know what that pill is? Viagra, she said it with a big smile. Now, you guys, I'm going to share this with you. This is pretty funny. I hope you appreciate this. So this guy came on the tour the other day, and he actually interrupted my tour. I got a little bit upset, but then he said something that was so funny I had to just let it go. He was very witty. He noticed a waterfall right here in the center, comes off of the pool and goes into the garden. Right as I said Viagra, he stood up and he goes, "Hey everybody, look, Viagra Falls." I've been doing this tour for 3 years. I can't believe I never thought of that. That was amazing. I could have talked to the next few minutes. $45 million it cost for Mr. Frost to have a mansion built, 41,000 square feet. Just for the land alone, 35 years ago, he spent $14 million for all that sand and rock from about 35 years ago. Yeah, I was just thinking I should have given that guy a tip at the end of the tour. That made me laugh at my tour instead of me expecting one from it, because that was pretty funny. This mansion here is another inventor, Mr. Charles Parker. He invented the ballpoint pen. Mr. Parker's 90 years old and he still has parties like he's 30. I finally figured it out. He has a Viagra connection right next door. You might recognize it from Bad Boys 1 and 2, Transporter 2, and many episodes of CSI Miami. It was built in 1920. It used to be the clubhouse to the island. This next mansion belongs to the richest guy in the island, Mr. Stormiller. Very smart, very cool guy. He's in the construction business. When he bought the old house on the property, he decided not to knock down the old house. What he did is he got the old house, lifted up his foundation, moved it to the left, and turned that into a huge playroom for his 6 children. The modern mansion has some really cool features built on top of a 10,000-gallon saltwater aquarium with golf course on the first floor. A river goes out of that aquarium from underneath the house. It goes out into the yard and goes back in. 5 cargo lots on the second floor for his exotic car collection with a huge game room and 2 bowling lanes and a gigantic jacuzzi on the roof. Now, I said he's a cool guy only because I met him in person. He came on our tour, presented himself, and he told us about his plans. He actually told us that he plans on owning Star Island one day, and he's doing pretty good so far. He had 6 properties on the island, including this construction site. He wants his mom to live right next to him. Without her knowing, he's building her this mansion with the movie theater on the right side, and his plan is to give it to her this coming Mother's Day, so he's never up to it. Sipping on fire water, banging fly chicks in a private charter. We're about to land in Florida. Niggas walking out in the corridor, and they got the shots of the light before, cause that's what the doctor ordered. Now this mansion used to belong to Shaquille O'Neal. His wife turned him off, she got to keep everything. Mansion, 4 exotic cars, these 2 beautiful boats. Shaq got his freedom, of course.
Never seen any. I'm a fire starter. I'm a fire starter.
Now this next mansion belongs to, I might be one of his biggest fans, Floyd Money Mayweather. He only stays here 6 months out of the year. The other 6 months he travels the world and rents it out as an Airbnb. I always tell everybody, forget about staying at the Red Roof Inn, stay here. $10,000 a night for that minimum. Rocky Balboa, Sylvester Stallone used to own this mansion. Today belongs to Donald Pliner. He's a famous women's shoe designer. When he first purchased it, he was showing it off on MTV Cribs. A lot of people on this island are rich but not famous. Both of these mansions belong to people that we don't know. I just hope they're not allergic to Windex.
Sipping vodka and a soda, tripping on a Johnny Walker and a cola.
Alright, let's see if you guys can guess who I'm talking about. If you know who it is, just yell out the name. It's okay with me. This man's in here behind the trees. You'll see it in a minute. The rapper, the actor, the slapper.
Strike it up and throw it in the mother.
Pitbull. I've never heard that one before. Who? Will Smith. This guy said right here, Will Smith. We heard a rumor that Chris Rock is going to move next door, but he said, forget it, Will Smith has a long reach.
Fire starter. I'm a fire starter.
Carmen Electra's friend with the yacht, David Beckham's custom home, beautiful yacht. I'm a big soccer fan. Finally, they're breaking ground. They found a property to build a soccer stadium in Miami, and they just started. Architecture claim it's going to be one of the most beautiful in the world. I can't wait to see that. Material Girl Madonna used to own this mansion today, belongs to Shoots, a Brazilian talk show host.
I'm a trailblazer. The motherfucking.
Alright guys, so check it out. This mansion here is my favorite property, my favorite two houses. You can see there's two houses on the property. This belongs to the King and Queen of Miami, Gloria and Emilio Estefan. Now you guys know they've been happily married for many years and still happily married today. I finally found out their secret, guys. You see how there's two homes? She lives on the right, he lives on the left. It works. I'm kidding, I totally joke around. The one on the right side is a recording studio. They still actively produce music. They live in the house on the left. Okay guys, we're gonna go check it out. I think the ocean is pretty good. If it gets too rough, we don't go, but it looks pretty nice so far. That's what we're gonna go see. You might get a little wet, be careful yourself. Let's go.
Sometimes it goes over.
Underneath the MacArthur